Historians in the Attleboro area recently had an opportunity to get a very unique look at the history of Attleboro. The Attleboro Historic Preservation Society met at the Attleboro Industrial Museum last week, where Director George Shelton gave a presentation on the history of the Attleboro area going back thousands of years. DoubleACS was at the event, and we spoke with a society member to learn more about the ceremony.
By 14,000 years ago, the ice was retreating to Canada, and the land in New England is uncovered. There's Attleboro, 13,000 years ago. The land when it's uncovered is not forest like it is now, or like it was when the Pilgrims arrived. What it is more like Arctic tundra. There are few, if any, trees. There are large animals called megafauna that move into this area. Mastodons walked perhaps in your backyard. Sometime between 13,000 and 10,000 years ago, groups of early people called the Paleo Indians arrived here.
I have been a teacher in Attleboro for over 35 years, and I am a member of the Historic Preservation Society. And I've always been fascinated with social studies. And so teaching the history of Attleboro, being part of the curriculum, was something that I looked forward to doing. My goal was always to try to make history come alive and to get kids to be excited about learning about the past. And hopefully they came away with some knowledge that they didn't have before. But I think it's important because that's how we learn from our mistakes. I don't know that we do learn from our mistakes, but just the stories of how the Native Americans were treated and mistreated, hopefully we wouldn't do that again, but there's no guarantee, is there? Well, the first book that I showed was Daggett's, the original Daggett's History of Attleboro, and that book was, I think, was donated in 1920 to the Attleboro School Department, and I got my hands on it. But there's a wonderful archive room at the Attleboro Public Library, and going into the archive room, you might be given a pair of white gloves because you're looking at some of the actual artifacts, but it's a wonderful quiet place to go and to read news stories or history books about all of the people and the places and the events that made Attleboro what it is today. But I understand here at the Industrial Museum they also sell copies of a lot of those books, so anybody who wants to have copies for themselves can come here and look at their collection. It was a good turnout tonight. It was very, very good. And I loved working with George. And I'm sad that he's retiring, but I'm looking forward to working with Carlton, the new director.